Open Range isn't just another Western. It's a rare modern classic that brought back the beauty and the raw emotion of frontier life. So saddle up, because today we're diving into 20 weird facts about Open Range that will change the way you see the film forever. Number 1. The epic storm scene was 100% real. In Open Range, there's a breathtaking scene where Charlie and Boss ride into town under a violent thunderstorm. Many fans assumed this was created with Hollywood effects, but the storm was absolutely real. Director Kevin Costner saw storm clouds rolling in and rushed the crew into position. What you see on screen, the lightning, the rain, and the raw intensity, was captured live. No CGI, no studio trick. This decision not only saved production costs, but gave the movie a level of authenticity that few Westerns had in the modern era. Number 2. Costner insisted on old-school gunfight. Most Westerns in the 2000s used stylized, Hollywood-style shootouts, but Costner wanted Open Range to reflect how gunfights really felt: loud, chaotic, and terrifying. The sound of the rifles and revolvers was recorded with minimal editing to preserve the harshness. Costner even made sure the actors used realistic stances and movements, often showing them fumbling or struggling under pressure. This is why the climactic shootout feels less like a choreographed scene and more like a gritty survival moment. Number 3. Robert Duvall only joined because of Costner's pitch. Robert Duvall, who played Boss Spearman, wasn't initially interested in doing another Western, but when Kevin Costner personally called him and said, "This is a role written for you. Nobody else can play it," Duvall agreed instantly, without even reading the script. Duvall later admitted that he felt deeply honored and wanted to support Costner's vision of making a Western that was more about characters than cliches. Number 4. The town was built from scratch. The small frontier town featured in the film wasn't a set reused from other productions. It was constructed entirely from scratch in the Alberta wilderness. The production team built saloons, shops, and homes with authentic 19th century materials and techniques. Even though the interiors weren't always used, Costner wanted the buildings to feel real enough that actors could step into any one of them and remain in character. This level of authenticity gave the film a lived-in feel, which is why many fans say it doesn't look like a Hollywood backlot at all. Number 5. Kevin Costner turned down other movies to make this one. At the time, Costner was being offered more commercially appealing projects, but he turned them down because he wanted to direct and star in Open Range. He believed modern audiences had forgotten what made Westerns so powerful, and he wanted to bring back that raw sense of justice, loneliness, and moral conflict. Number 6. The dogs were scene stealers. Boss and Charlie's loyal dogs weren't just background props. Costner personally approved the animals used and spent time with them before shooting, so they'd react naturally on set. One of the dogs, Tig, actually wandered into a few scenes unscripted, and Costner kept the footage because it made the bond between the cowboys and their animals feel more authentic. Number 7. The shootout changed action filmmaking. The final gunfight in Open Range is considered one of the most realistic in film history. Costner insisted it be filmed in long takes with minimal music, so viewers would feel the chaos and fear. Instead of heroic one-liners, there are awkward silences, missed shots, and sheer brutality. After this movie, several directors admitted they looked to Open Range as a reference for how to shoot realistic action. Number 8. Costner's horse was his real-life partner. Kevin Costner used one of his own horses in the film, a trained steed he'd ridden for years. He trusted the horse so much that many scenes were done without a stunt double. There's a level of comfort you can see on screen. Costner and the horse move almost as one. Number 9. Filming in Alberta was brutal. The movie's gorgeous landscapes came with a price. The Alberta weather was so unpredictable that the cast and crew were constantly battling cold rain, mud, and wind. Costner later said that while the locations gave the movie its epic look, it also pushed the team to their limit. At one point, equipment was nearly lost in flooding, and the crew had to work long nights just to reset for the next day's shoot. Number 10. The ending was originally different. In early drafts of the script, the ending didn't have Charlie and Sue together. Costner, however, felt the story needed a human, hopeful closure, especially after all the violence. He wanted audiences to leave not just with the memory of the gunfight, but with the sense that life could still grow from death and chaos. So he rewrote the ending, creating a softer but more emotionally satisfying conclusion. Number 11. The rainstorm that wasn't in the script. During one key scene, a sudden downpour hit the set. Instead of stopping production, Kevin Costner kept rolling, and the rain added a gritty realism to the moment. The storm wasn't planned, but it made the film look more raw and natural, so they decided to keep it. Number 12. Robert Duvall's cigar obsession. Robert Duvall insisted on using authentic 19th century style cigars for his character, Boss Spearman. He believed the detail mattered for the role, even though it was barely noticeable to the audience. But that level of commitment is what gave his performance such weight. Number 13. Kevin Costner's Cowboy Code. Costner made all the actors carry real revolvers and wear their costumes off-set during breaks. Because he wanted the cast to live as cowboys, so when cameras rolled, their movements and body language felt natural instead of staged. Number 14. The gunfight took 20 days to shoot. The climactic shootout wasn't just another action scene. Costner directed it with extreme precision, spending nearly 20 days filming it to make sure every shot, reload, and reaction felt brutally real. That's why many fans consider it one of the most authentic gunfights in cinema. Number 15. The horses were treated like stars. The horses used in open range had their own handlers, custom diets, and even spa days for grooming. Costner believed that since the story revolved around cattlemen and ranch life, the animals deserved as much care as the actors. Number 16. The no-music gunfight rule. Unlike most westerns, Costner banned background music during the final gunfight. He wanted viewers to feel the raw intensity of gunshots, hoofbeats, and shouting. No cinematic soundtrack to soften the brutality. It was a bold, unusual choice that paid off. Number 17. Annette Bening's role was almost cut. Annette Bening played Sue Barlow, the quiet love interest. But in early drafts, her character barely existed. Costner fought to expand her role, arguing that the film needed a gentle emotional core to balance the violence. Without her, the movie would have been far darker. Number 18. Real dust, not Hollywood smoke. Most westerns use artificial smoke to give towns a dusty feel. But Costner rejected that, instead having trucks stir up real dirt before take. It created the choking, gritty atmosphere that made the town feel genuinely harsh and lived in. Number 19. The film nearly didn't get released. Despite the scale of the project, studios doubted a serious old-fashioned western would make money in 2003. Costner had to fight hard to secure distribution. In the end, Open Range became a box office success, proving audiences still loved traditional Western. Number 20. Costner's final Western. Maybe. Kevin Costner has said multiple times that Open Range might be his last Western, though he admits the genre has a special place in his heart. Fans often debate whether this film was his Western farewell, especially now that decades have passed without him directing another.